Before you dive into the seismic clash that rocked the nation, be sure to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below to tell us where you're watching from. You won't want to miss a single explosive moment of this story. Now, let's talk about the bombshell that started it all. In a dazzling Los Angeles studio, under the unforgiving glare of stage lights, stood Robert De Niro. His eyes, sharp as a blade, pierced through the camera, and his deep, resonant voice, carrying the weight of a Hollywood legend, unleashed a scathing video. It wasn't just another celebrity rant. This was a meticulously crafted cinematic masterpiece, woven with past moments of De Niro attacking Trump, from calling him a nightmare at an awards ceremony to labeling him more dangerous than a crime boss in a TV interview. This time, however, De Niro's target was not just Trump, but a force he clearly underestimated: Karoline Leavitt. His 5-minute video, unleashed on X, spread like wildfire, shaking social media to its core. De Niro, with the full aura of his legendary status, branded Leavitt, the youngest White House press secretary in history, a mega propaganda machine and a naive Trump cheerleader, but he didn't stop at simple insults. He criticized Leavitt as a symbol of shallowness, a young woman, in his view, swept up in Trump's web of lies, too inexperienced to handle the complexities of politics. "She's Trump's fleeting breeze," he declared, his voice dripping with contempt, easily blown away by any political storm. De Niro meticulously portrayed Leavitt as a polished propaganda tool, mindlessly repeating Trump's empty slogans without independent thought. He mocked her appearance, stating, "She stands there in her expensive suit, reading PR-ridden speeches like a third-rate actor in Trump's terrible play." He emphasized that Leavitt lacked the stature to represent America globally, reducing her to a mere puppet in what he called Trump's terrible play. But De Niro's attack wasn't merely personal. It was a broadside against the entire MAGA movement. He derided MAGA as a political circus built on lies and division, with Trump as the central clown pulling the strings. He listed what he saw as Trump's failures: his insane policies weakened the economy, divided the nation, and made America a global laughingstock. In particular, De Niro slammed Trump's tariff policies, which Leavitt often praised, dismissing them as an economic disaster that raised prices and hurt American consumers. Leavitt stands there defending these destructive policies as if she understands them. He sneered, his voice thick with sarcasm. "She's not a spokesperson. She's a puppet jerked around by Trump and his machine." He continued to attack Leavitt's youth, seeing it as a fundamental weakness. "At 27, she hasn't lived long enough to understand what America needs," De Niro declared. He compared her to seasoned politicians, arguing Leavitt lacked practical experience and was chosen only for her youthful face and script-reading ability. He stressed that the press secretary role demands depth, crisis management, and strategic vision, qualities he claimed Leavitt never had and never will. He even mocked her style, from her fashionable suits to her use of platforms like Truth Social and X. "She thinks posting on social media is politics?" he scoffed. "That's childish, not leadership." De Niro also targeted Leavitt's devotion to Trump, calling it sad blindness. He criticized her return to work just 4 days after giving birth, seeing it as proof she prioritized loyalty to Trump over family and herself. "She calls that dedication?" he asked, his voice full of disdain. "No, it's an obsession with a man destroying the country." He painted Leavitt as a victim of Trump's machine, a young woman caught in a power spiral without grasping the consequences. "She thinks she's saving America," he said, "but she's just enabling chaos." De Niro's video wasn't just a personal attack, but a call to action. He urged Americans to wake up to what he called the MAGA threat. "We can't let people like Leavitt, with her naivety and blind loyalty, shape the future," he stressed. He called on his audience, especially anti-MAGA viewers, to share the video, using the hashtag De Niro Fights to spread the message. "This isn't just about Leavitt or Trump," he concluded, his voice lowering like a warning. "It's about saving the American dream from those tearing it apart." Social media exploded as soon as the video dropped. Hollywood fans, especially intellectuals and left-leaning viewers, hailed De Niro as a hero who spoke truth. But they had no idea the storm they had just unleashed. The stage was set for a counterattack that would change the game forever. In her serene office, bathed in the soft glow of a desk lamp, Karoline Leavitt intently watched Robert De Niro's attack video. Every sneering insult, every dismissive jab calling her a cheap propaganda machine and Trump a clown didn't diminish her. Instead, it only fueled her resolve. This wasn't just a Hollywood legend launching an assault. This was a Goliath challenging a vibrant, unstoppable force. Leavitt, a mega icon forged in the media battles from New Hampshire to Trump's inner circle, faced the Hollywood giant not with fear, but with an unyielding determination. She gathered her advisory team, their faces illuminated by the glow of screens, dissecting every word, every nuance of De Niro's cinematic masterpiece. They analyzed his weaknesses, out of touch, relying solely on attacks, a man disconnected from the very Americans he presumed to lecture. "He calls me a fleeting breeze," she laughed, a glint in her eye. "I'll be the storm." The air crackled with anticipation. The counterattack was meticulously planned, sharp as a honed blade. Then the moment arrived. The White House press room doors swung open, and Karoline Leavitt stepped out, a vision of defiant confidence. Flashbulbs blazed like fireworks, momentarily, blinding, but only serving to illuminate her bold pink suit and sparkling cross necklace. She wasn't just a press secretary. She was MAGA's standard bearer, her eyes burning with the fierce intensity of a gladiator entering the arena. Reporters from the Wall Street Journal to Newsmax aimed their cameras, their lenses hungry, the air crackling like a steel forge. All of America, glued to X and Truth Social, held its breath, watching live as history was about to be made. Leavitt approached the podium, placing her hands on its surface, her fingers tapping rhythmically, a silent prelude to the storm she was about to unleash. Her sharp gaze swept the crowd, assessing, owning the room. She wasn't here to defend. She was here to reduce Robert De Niro's challenge to ashes. A CNN reporter, a voice dripping with skepticism, raised a hand. "Miss Leavitt, Mr. De Niro called you a mega propaganda machine and Trump a clown. How do you respond?" Leavitt smiled, a disarming yet lethal expression. Her voice, clear and resounding like a hammer blow, cut through the tension. "Mr. De Niro thinks I'm a cheap machine. Sir, I'm the fire burning through every lie from Hollywood." The room shook. Applause from MAGA's supporters erupted, a roar of affirmation that rippled through the online audience. She didn't just respond. She attacked, turning De Niro's naive and clown jabs into fuel for her own fiery rhetoric. "He says MAGA is a circus?" She challenged. "Here's the truth. President Trump created 3.2 million jobs in his first term, cut taxes for 80% of households, and brought 5,000 citizens home safely. That's results, not a movie." She emphasized the numbers, her voice sharp as a blade, a daring, data-driven rebuttal. A New York Times reporter, undeterred, pressed further. "Mr. De Niro says you lack experience. What do you have to prove otherwise?" Leavitt's reply was dripping with sarcasm, yet undeniably effective. "Mr. De Niro, I respect Goodfellas, but politics isn't the silver screen. You live in a multi-million-dollar mansion, disconnected from the working Americans we protect. While you play heroes, Trump is rebuilding the American dream." Laughter spread, not just from conservative audiences, but even from some neutral reporters. Then came the Gen Z jab that lit the fuse. "Want to attack MAGA? Try posting on TikTok instead of hiding in an editing room." The quip was a digital cannonball. Instantly, #LeviTVS Hollywood rocketed to the top trending charts, flooded with X-memes showing a stunned De Niro captioned, "Karoline, MAGA superhero." Leavitt wasn't just humorous. She was a sharp strategist. When an MSNBC reporter questioned her defense of Trump's tariffs, calling them a disaster, she responded with precision. A 20% tariff on China protected millions of American jobs and brought in $70 billion. That's putting America first. She paused, letting the number sink in, then added, "Hollywood's busy filming. We're busy building a future for Iowa farmers, Michigan workers, and Texas businesses." Applause erupted, and even liberal reporters bowed their heads, compelled to take notes. When a Fox News reporter asked how she countered De Niro's claim that MAGA was divisive, Leavitt attacked De Niro's credibility, her voice like a sledgehammer. "He calls us a circus. Look at his legacy, violent roles, remarks insulting millions of Americans. That's not truth. It's acting." The word acting pierced De Niro's carefully constructed aura like an arrow. She then shared a personal story, her voice low with emotion. I grew up in New Hampshire, watching families struggle under failed administrations. I'm here for them, not to perform like Niro. The audience fell silent, then erupted in fervent applause, the emotion reaching millions online. Social media ignited. Leavitt posted a 15-second video on Truth Social, mid-briefing, Hollywood can't touch MAGA. The clip hit 2 million views in 10 minutes. X-Post shared it with comments like, Karoline made Niro a laughingstock, memes spread like wildfire, a stunned Niro, a triumphant Leavitt as a superhero, captioned MAGA whirlwind, MAGA. Telegram groups live-streamed, calling it the battle of the century. Neutral viewers admitted Leavitt was rewriting the rules. Another reporter asked, what do you say about the American dream Niro claims Trump is destroying? Leavitt responded, her voice commanding like a conductor, the American dream. We're living it through policies bringing jobs back, securing borders, empowering people. He calls it a circus. We hold the whip. The audience stood, cheers echoing. She raised a hand for silence, delivering the final, devastating blow. Mr. Niro want a debate? Step off the screen. But no, this MAGA doesn't back down. The room exploded, conservative reporters clapping, liberals quietly scribbling. Leavitt had not just responded. She had seized the narrative, turning the tables on a Hollywood icon and proving that the true stage for America's future was not the silver screen, but the raw, unscripted reality of the White House press room. The battle had just begun, but the victor was already clear. Social media didn't just react. It exploded the instant Karoline Leavitt stepped away from the podium. Her speech video, posted on X minutes later, didn't spread, it detonated, hitting 10 million views in under 2 hours. Every sharp line, from the fire burning through every lie from Hollywood to MAGA is the flag of truth, became cannon fire, exploding across platforms. On Truth Social, MAGA supporters didn't just share, they transformed Leavitt into an icon, calling her the Gen Z queen who crushed Robert De Niro and the Hollywood system. The digital battlefield was undeniably hers. The hashtag Karoline Rising didn't just trend. It outpaced hashtag De Niro fights, dominating global trending charts. And then came hashtag Leavitt's Hat Hollywood, a new, potent symbol of the clash between the authentic voice of MAGA and the perceived elitism of Tinseltown. Ex-users, seizing on the sheer audacity and brilliance of her performance, turned Leavitt's speech into online gems. A 20-second clip of her mocking De Niro with "try TikTok" instead of an editing room was shared millions of times, accompanied by comments like, Karoline just made De Niro a living meme. Digital artists, working at lightning speed, unleashed a torrent of creative images. One depicted Leavitt as a fierce warrior, a truth sword in hand, standing triumphantly over the ruins of Hollywood. Another showed a bewildered De Niro captioned, when you think you're the star, but Karoline makes you a sidekick. MAGA Telegram groups hosted live streams, dissecting her arguments from tariffs to USMCA as if it were a championship boxing match where Leavitt had knocked out her opponent. In the very first round, Truth Social became the main battlefield, where MAGA supporters made Leavitt a genuine cultural icon. Karoline didn't just take down De Niro. One user wrote, she obliterated Hollywood's fake narrative. Another post, garnering tens of thousands of likes, audaciously compared her to historical figures, from Joan of Arc to now, Karoline Leavitt women, leading the fight for truth. Forums like Reddit and Telegram groups buzzed with comments ranging from Leavitt, MAGA's future, to De Niro picked the wrong fight. A prominent account posted her video with epic background music, captioned, Hurricane. Karoline swept Hollywood away. This video alone hit 3 million views, spilling over to Instagram and TikTok, where Gen Z creators added light effects and MAGA-power text to honor her. Media outlets reacted at lightning speed, though with vastly different agendas. Fox News replayed her entire speech, with Sean Hannity calling Leavitt the new generation's blazing torch, while Newsmax ran the headline, Karoline Leavitt, the woman who silenced Hollywood. In stark contrast, liberal outlets like CNN and MSNBC tried desperately to downplay her impact. A CNN commentator called Leavitt overly aggressive, but was swiftly drowned out by a social media backlash, with thousands of X posts mocking. CNN calls it aggressive? No, it's truth. MSNBC even brought in a scholar to defend Niro, but Leavitt's speech, laden with data on jobs and tariffs, and infused with her sincere personal story, was too ironclad to refute. An ex-user aptly summarized the sentiment: CNN and MSNBC are trying to save Niro, but Karoline won by knockout. Meanwhile, prominent MAGA figures rallied behind her, pouring fuel on the fire, making Leavitt's image shine even brighter. From Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump himself posted on Truth Social, "Karoline Leavitt is a great warrior. Hollywood can't touch her." The post garnered millions of interactions, instantly becoming a focal point for MAGA forums. Tucker Carlson, on his show, called Leavitt MAGA's breath of fresh air, sharing her speech with the comment, "She just taught Hollywood a lesson in truth." Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, posted a video with the caption, "Gen Z is leading, and Karoline is the flag." Elise Stefanik, a Trump-aligned congresswoman, wrote on X, "Karoline Leavitt just rewrote history. Hollywood lost, the opposition tried to fight back, but their voices were swiftly drowned out." A group of Niro supporters on X called Leavitt arrogant, but was swiftly countered by MAGA users with clips from her speech. One account wrote, "Arrogant? No, that's confidence. Karoline has data, truth, while Niro just has scripts." Some liberal commentators tried to defend Niro, claiming he spoke for democracy, but their posts quickly sank under the wave of Leavitt support. A viral Reddit meme showed Niro with the caption, "When you think you're the godfather, but Karoline turns you into the intern." This Gen Z humor cemented Leavitt's victory, making her the undeniable center of online culture. Neutral audiences, initially skeptical, were swept up. An ex-post from someone claiming to be not a Trump supporter wrote, "Got to admit, Karoline Leavitt owned the stage. Her data was solid and she knew how to connect." Forums like Quora sprouted threads, "Is Karoline Leavitt the future of MAGA?" with hundreds of comments praising her intelligence and sincerity. One user wrote, "She didn't just beat Niro, she made me want to learn more about MAGA." This seismic shift was undeniable proof of Leavitt's influence, reaching far beyond Trump's traditional base. As Karoline Leavitt became a radiant flag in the social media sky, Robert De Niro, once an untouchable Hollywood icon, began to fade into the shadows. The online inferno she ignited had irrevocably shifted the tides of public perception. As Karoline Leavitt became a radiant flag in the social media sky, Robert De Niro, once an untouchable Hollywood icon, faded into the shadows. His attack video, which had rocked X with millions of views just days before, was now nothing but ashes, utterly consumed by the hashtag Karoline Rising Storm. His insults branding Leavitt a cheap propaganda machine and Trump a clown destroying the American dream lost all their weight, overwhelmed by Leavitt's razor-sharp press room speech. Public sentiment, from Truth Social forums to real-world conversations, now mentioned De Niro only as a lost soul, a great actor who tragically picked the wrong stage to fight on. De Niro, perhaps in a desperate attempt to salvage his shattered reputation, tried to regain ground. 2 days after Leavitt's earth-shattering speech, he posted a lengthy X statement, attempting to justify his earlier broadside, claiming he only spoke the truth and once more labeling MAGA a threat to democracy, but the response was a devastating silence, utterly unlike the frenzy his initial video had caused. The post garnered mere thousands of likes, a paltry flicker against the millions praising Leavitt. Ex-users, brutal in their collective humor, instantly turned his effort into a joke, with a viral comment quipping, "De Niro thinks he's Raging Bull, but Karoline made him a sidekick in a comedy." A flood of new memes hit social media, cementing his downfall. Images of a stunned De Niro captioned, "When you mess with MAGA and get floored by Leavitt," proliferated. TikTok videos, viewed millions of times, spliced De Niro's classic movie scenes with a dubbed voice lamenting, "I was a star until Karoline showed up." His staunchest supporters, mostly Hollywood fans and liberal intellectuals, attempted a revival. An Atlantic article bravely praised De Niro as a voice of conscience, but was swiftly mocked by MAGA on Truth Social. Conscience? He just knows how to act. Some A-list celebrities, actors, and directors shared De Niro's post in solidarity, but their voices, once influential, were quickly submerged, lost in the overwhelming tide of Leavitt's triumph. An X account succinctly captured the reality. Hollywood's trying to save Niro, but they don't realize Leavitt changed the game. Mega Telegram groups hosted live streams analyzing how Leavitt had turned Niro from hero to loser, with one host declaring, "Karoline tore down Hollywood's curtain, exposing the emptiness inside." Niro's spectacular failure marked a turning point for Hollywood, which had long seen itself as the unassailable center of cultural influence. Analysts from Variety and The Hollywood Reporter admitted, albeit reluctantly, that Leavitt had exposed the elite's weakness. They were disconnected from everyday Americans, living in lavish mansions and preaching about the American dream they don't understand. One journalist wrote, "Leavitt, with her sincerity and data, did what Hollywood never could: connect with the heart of ordinary Americans." This raw truth cut like a knife into Hollywood's pride, forcing them to face a harsh new reality. Their shine was fading before figures like Leavitt, who communicated directly via X and Truth Social, unfiltered and authentic. Niro himself seemed to retreat from the spotlight, a defeated figure. A CNN interview expected to help him regain ground drew a meager audience. He tried to defend his stance, but his tired voice and repetitive arguments couldn't match Leavitt's freshness and vigor. An ex-commenter noted, "Niro looks like he lost a fight he didn't know had started." Hollywood producers, who once saw Niro as a cultural hero, began subtly distancing themselves, fearing that association with his political misstep could harm their own image. An insider source revealed Niro bet his credibility and lost. Hollywood's looking for new faces, not old icons. On social media, Niro's downfall became a persistent punchline. A YouTube parody video depicting Niro as an outdated movie character, decisively defeated by Leavitt's speech, hit 5 million views. A TikTok user created a viral video splicing Leavitt's speech with images of Niro literally fleeing the spotlight, captioned, "Hollywood 0, Karoline 1. Forums like Reddit overflowed with threads like, "Should Niro stop doing politics?" with hundreds of comments agreeing he had shot himself in the foot by challenging Leavitt. While Robert De Niro, with all his legendary legacy, faded into obscurity, now just a name in Leavitt's victory story, Karoline Leavitt continued to shine, a blazing new star ascendant. Hollywood, once an untouchable mountain, now faced a new, unyielding reality. Karoline Leavitt, now rising like a blazing torch, illuminated the path for the mega movement. Her resounding press room victory didn't just dim Hollywood's glow. It forged her into an untouchable icon in the eyes of millions of supporters. In the days following her historic speech, Leavitt didn't rest on her laurels. She dove into work, with explosive energy, solidifying her position as a young leader guiding MAGA's new generation with a perfect blend of intellect, sincerity, and modern charisma. In a post-Niro press briefing, she bluntly attacked the liberal media, calling them truth twisters protecting the elite. Her words, live-streamed on X, drew millions of views, with users hailing her as the people's spokesperson. A Truth Social post succinctly captured the sentiment. Karoline didn't just take down Niro, she's challenging the entire media system. This unshakable confidence, paired with her striking fashion from a fiery red suit to sleek high heels, made her a cultural icon. Dubbed Mega's style queen by young designers on Instagram, Leavitt appeared at mega events nationwide, from rallies in Florida to conservative conferences in Texas. At a Miami event, she stood before thousands, declaring, "We don't need Hollywood to tell our story. We are the story. Workers, families, believers in a great America." The crowd erupted, holding signs reading Karoline 2028, a clear signal that she was not just a spokesperson, but a potential candidate for higher roles. An attendee shared on X, "Karoline is the future. She makes me proud to be MAGA." Leavitt's appeal wasn't limited to traditional MAGA supporters. She began attracting young voters previously apathetic about politics. At an Arizona youth forum, she spoke passionately about vocational education and job opportunities, connecting directly with those seeking a future. President Trump created apprenticeship programs, giving millions of young people good jobs. She proclaimed, "That's how we build the American dream." The young crowd cheered wildly, many sharing on X for the very first time that they wanted to explore MAGA. One post read, "Karoline made me, a 22-year-old, care about politics for the first time." Meanwhile, liberal media outlets were forced to acknowledge Leavitt's undeniable influence. A New York Times article described her as a new threat to the elite, though still critiquing her overly aggressive style, but such criticism only fueled her support. An ex-user responded, "They call Karoline aggressive? Good, because America needs strong leaders." Forums like Reddit sprouted threads like, "Could Karoline Leavitt run for president?" With hundreds of comments predicting she'd be a future political star. Leavitt's journey was a testament to the power of perseverance. From her days at the family ice cream shop, she learned the value of hard work and loyalty. Those timeless values, combined with her sharp intellect and Gen Z flair, made her an irreplaceable leader. At a Nevada youth conference, she stood before hundreds of young people, her voice resounding, "America doesn't belong to the elite. It belongs to us, those who dare to stand, dare to fight." The crowd exploded, raising phones to record every word, then sharing on TikTok with the hashtag #LeavittLeads. Spreading like an unstoppable wave, political commentators began predicting she'd go further, perhaps as a congresswoman, senator, or even a future presidential candidate. A National Review article called her "Mega's breath of fresh air," forecasting she'd shape American politics in the next decade. Supporters on Truth Social agreed, with a post garnering millions of interactions, "Karoline Leavitt is the answer to the future. She'll lead us to a greater America." These words weren't just praise. They were a call, urging her to continue her mission. In a rare moment amid her hectic schedule, she stood before a mirror in her White House office, her gaze pensive. She thought of the workers in New Hampshire, the families fighting to preserve the American dream. "I'm not doing this for fame," she once shared in a Newsmax interview. "I'm doing it for those who put their trust in us, in President Trump and MAGA." Those sincere, simple words spread across X, prompting thousands to share with comments like, "Karoline is the heart of the movement." Hollywood, once so proud of its cultural influence, now faced reality. They were no longer the only voice. Leavitt, with her uncanny ability to connect via Truth Social, TikTok, and X, proved true power lies with those closest to the people. A Forbes analysis wrote, "Leavitt has changed how politics operates. She doesn't need Hollywood's spotlight. She creates her own." Gen Z creators on Instagram celebrated her with polished videos, splicing images of Leavitt with the American flag and text, "The guide for a new generation." Leavitt also sent a direct message to her supporters, "Keep fighting," in a Truth Social post, she wrote, "MAGA isn't just a movement. It's a promise to America, a promise of freedom, opportunity, and truth." The post, featuring her standing before the White House, garnered 5 million interactions, with hashtag #AMAGA forever spreading across platforms. She urged viewers to share their stories, making MAGA a people's movement. An ex-user responded, "Karoline makes me believe we can change the country." Leavitt was more than a politician. She was a symbol of a transforming America. She represented timeless values, hard work, faith, and patriotism, but she also brought a fresh vibe, Gen Z style, and unmatched connectivity. A TikTok post featuring Leavitt with the caption, "The future is here," hit 2 million views, with comments, "Karoline is who we need to lead." Forums like Reddit began debating, could Leavitt be MAGA's first female president? An idea once unthinkable, now within reach. The story of Karoline Leavitt and her resounding victory over Robert De Niro deeply reflects the social and political dynamics in the US today, where polarization between conservative values and cultural elites shapes public opinion. Leavitt, a 27-year-old from New Hampshire, overcame De Niro's attacks, a Hollywood icon, by blending data like 3.2 million jobs, 20% tariffs on China, the sincerity of her family ice cream shop story, and Gen Z style with memes, TikTok, and hashtag Leavitt's Hat Hollywood. Her meteoric rise on social media, with 15 million views and hashtag Karoline Rising trending, and De Niro's spectacular collapse, clearly show the power of direct connection with people, bypassing traditional media in today's US, where platforms like X and Truth Social shape politics. This story powerfully underscores that an individual voice, if wielded skillfully, can change the game. Karoline Leavitt's story offers a valuable lesson for Americans today. Harness the power of sincerity and direct connection to make an impact, no matter your background. Leavitt, from a small New Hampshire ice cream shop, had no Hollywood glamour. Yet, she defeated Niro by speaking truth with data, like Trump's 3.2 million jobs and a heartfelt personal story. In a polarized society where liberal media and elites often control the narrative, learn from Leavitt, tell your own story, as she did on X and Truth Social, reaching millions of views. Her success with hashtag Karoline Rising shows social media is a powerful tool to connect with communities from Iowa farmers to Michigan workers. Use TikTok, Instagram, or X to share your values, like Leavitt, with her bold pink suit and cross necklace becoming a cultural icon. At the same time, she teaches us that perseverance and belief in core values like hard work and patriotism can overcome any criticism. As she turned Niro's naive jab into a launchpad in real life, learn from Leavitt, stand up, speak truth with confidence, and connect sincerely with those around you. Whether you're a student, worker, or entrepreneur, your story, if told right, can inspire and transform communities, just as Leavitt did with MAGA and America. Thank you for watching. If you were as inspired as we were by Karoline Leavitt's brilliant journey, please like this video, share it with everyone you know, comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the latest stories and even more explosive moments. See you in the next video.